Great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Valentine we said Voices. And then today with me is the amazing Jenny Allen. Thank you so much, Jenny, for coming. She is
Welcome.
a mom, a grown mom now, people. And so she looks very radiant. I've been really complimenting her. And then she has a lot to say, personal experience from her children and other people. And she has been teaching and speaking on personal development topics and self-esteem, growing yourself and being productive for yourself. And I would like her to, own the floor and tell us a bit more about what you do. And yes, get the Valentine we set going. Thank you, Jenny.
Well, my name is Jenny Allen and I'm based in London, and I'm a life coach, I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm also a domestic violence awareness advocate, and I'm also an author. I've done about 3 or 4 years of voluntary work in the domestic violence field here in London. So I used to work on a help desk and support women and different things like that. But my passion is to build the confidence and self-esteem of women and to empower women,
Great.
because I know what it's like to have low self-esteem and no confidence and everything. And for years I had a stutter. So I was a stutterer.
Wow.
So, and it really affected my confidence and everything. And then I went through a series of experiences where I thought, you know what, I've got to start building me. And I decided to go and train as a life coach, and so that I can empower other women. So that's what I do in a nutshell. Yeah,
Amazing.
so that's
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, and from the way you speak, nobody would know that you
uh,
had a stutter, before.
yeah.
And so
I don't hide it.
so that means there's hope for those who have speech problems as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so what's the place of self-love, in becoming someone who's attractive, and an attractive woman, an attractive man? What's the place of self love in being the person that people would want to be with and hang around with?
You see, what I've understood about self-love and what I have experienced is that when you begin to work on self-love is part of developing your inner beauty.
Hmm.
It starts with developing who you are. It starts with developing your heart. And a lot of people tend to focus on their outside. They spend a lot of money on makeup, plastic surgery, and everything to develop their outer self.
Hmm.
But building your self-esteem, building your confidence, it starts with inner work. It starts with working on your heart, all your pain, maybe all the issues that you've been through and it's left your heart bruised. Start working on your inner heart. And as you do that, that that healing, that love that you have inside will begin to come out, and it will make you attractive
Hmm.
without you even having to try to do anything, because your love and sorry your self-love
Okay.
will begin to reflect from the inside out, and
Wow.
it will be like a magnet, and it will begin to,
Exactly.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yes, our outward appearance is very important because people see our outward appearance first, but begin to work on your heart, because you can have a beautiful woman, and if her heart is ugly, nobody will want to go near her.
Yeah, and so the inward state of your heart and your mind
Yeah,
reflects on your outward appearance,
that's
right?
right. Yes, it does. Yes, it
Great,
does. So
great.
it's like a reflection. And, I've met a lot of women who the world would not consider to be beautiful. But because of their heart, there is something very beautiful about them. And they radiate confidence. They radiate, you can see that they really care about themselves. And self-love is not loving yourself at the exclusion of other people.
Hmm.
Self-love is nurturing you so you're better able to interact and give to other people, because you can only give what you have. You can only pour from a full cup. So begin to work on yourself, begin to develop self-love, and it will make you a highly attractive person.
Great. So I like that part about self-love, nurturing, and
Yeah,
being. It's not exclusive of I love myself above every other person.
yeah.
I love
No, that's
myself, and then it helps me to position myself to be able to relate with other people as
right,
a great human being, as a great individual. And so,
right.
yes, I mean, self-love, good way to go. So, share an experience. I mean, you would have loads and loads of experiences now about love and relationship, love and relationship, and one something that you've learned. I mean, something that you can
Yeah,
teach or that you can draw a lesson, either from what you learned, a positive lesson, or what you learned not to do again. You
yeah,
know, like a
yeah,
negative lesson.
yeah. Well, this year I've been married for 31 years.
Wow!
So yeah, that's a long time.
Congratulations! That's huge.
A long time. But I'm not going to draw anything from my marriage, but I want to draw something from a friendship that I have, which I think is very, very important. And it can cross over into marriage and male-female relationships.
Okay.
I had a friend, and what happened was I had to break the relationship. We were friends for about, I would say about 8 or 10 years.
Okay.
And I had to break it off because what was happening was that she was beginning to project her own insecurities on me, and I absorbed that.
Wow.
Because my self-esteem and confidence was not at the right place. So I began to absorb that. And what it does is that when you begin to absorb somebody else's negative energy or somebody else's toxic behavior, it puts a barrier around who you are, and you cannot be creative.
True.
And you cannot be yourself in such an environment. So, excuse me, so I had to cut it off really bluntly. I had to come down on it hard. And since I cut off that relationship, I began to blossom as an individual. If I'd stayed in that friendship, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because the individual put limits, subconscious barriers around me as to what I could and could not do. And she only saw my ability to rise at a certain level. So I had to cut that down. I had to go in hard and cut it down and refocus myself, redevelop myself, get rid of that toxicity and begin to build up who I am. So it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you're in. If that relationship is not allowing you to grow, is not giving you the freedom to be the person that God has created you to be, and for you to be able to build yourself up in your God-given gift and not giving you the ability to love yourself, you have to do something about moving forward and leaving that relationship behind. That is key. True. That is important. And I know without a shadow of a doubt is that if I'd have stayed in that friendship, I wouldn't be here talking to you now, because of the invisible barriers, because my self-esteem was low, my confidence was low. So I just took, because when your self-esteem and self-love and confidence is low, you will take anything that anybody gives you. Exactly. But the minute you start to work on yourself, you realize that, just a minute, I can do, as the Bible would say, I can do things through Christ who strengthens me, because God doesn't put a limit on us expressing the gift and the creativity he's given us. True. So that's a huge lesson. Do not absorb the insecurities of other people, because that insecurity will put a boundary around your own gift and you will never express your God-given ability. So that was one lesson that I learned. You have to be careful of your friendships, be careful of your relationships, and be careful who you interact with, because your friendships should not be putting a wall around your gift. They should be liberating you to come higher.
And helping you move in the direction of your
Uh,
gift and your purpose in life.
That's right.
Great.
That's
I think this really, really also has a strong affinity, especially for people who are in abusive relationships. You see
yeah,
people who
yeah,
are in relationships where they cannot be themselves because they feel, okay, if I'm too intelligent, he says I'm arrogant, and so they
yeah.
try to downplay how great or how good they are
Mm,
because of the person they are
yeah,
in a relationship with, And I really, really, that's what I drew from, what you said. And so whoever you're with, whether it's a male, it's a relationship like a love relationship, or it's a friend relationship, every relationship should empower you. Every relationship should
right.
inspire
Exactly.
you to do more, to be better, to
Exactly.
be, to fulfill your truest self. So you shouldn't have to pretend to be miserable when you're not, because the person is miserable. you know
That's right.
Great. And so thank you for sharing that.
That's fine.
um the concept of too much too soon as regards premarital sex
Yeah.
and all that. Let's talk a bit about that and what happens in premarital sex, and then consequences of you know premarital sex even in a
Yeah.
marriage and all that. Yes.
Yeah. Um, I'll give you a short story before I go into a little bit of what I've got with that. When I was at school, a lot of my friends, school a long time ago, a lot of my friends, they were sleeping around. This was at secondary school.
Okay.
And I didn't partake in any of that. But my friends were sleeping around, doing all kinds of things. And the year that I left school, one of my friends came to me, and she had been fairly sexually active. And she said to me, she wished she had kept her virginity.
Wow.
She wished she could take it back. She
Wow.
wished she could go back and undo every person that she had slept with. But it was too late, because what teenagers don't seem to realize, it's just not the fact of sleeping with the person. There are psychological and there are spiritual consequences to being to sleeping around,
Okay.
to being sexually active, as it were. But for the teens, for premarital sex for teenagers, it's even more devastating, because sometimes how I categorized it, I said there's a physical impact
Okay.
and there's a psychological impact.
Hmm.
Now, the physical impact, teens, they can get pregnant, you can get all kinds of diseases,
Mm-hmm.
and HIV, different sexually transmitted diseases, they can get that. And having sex very young has an impact on the body.
True.
Teenage bodies are still developing, especially for girls. The body is still developing. And if you get pregnant as a young teen, your body is still adjusting to all the hormone surges. And you have to be very careful with having sex at a young age. I'm not saying that to condemn anybody who
Exactly.
might have had a child, who, when they were teenagers, maybe when they were 13, 14, 15 or whatever. I'm not condemning anybody who that's happened to. What I'm doing is highlighting the things that teenagers need to consider.
Mm.
Okay. So that's the physical impact. The psychological impact is that a lot of teenagers are mistaking sex for love. And
Exactly.
this,
That is it.
and
That's the
it's
misconception. They believe that if he wants to sleep
right.
with me, he loves me. You
No,
know.
no, I mean that. Because the thing is that you're mistaking sex for love, and men and women see sex very different.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
see different. A man can go and sleep with a woman, and he's thinking about counting. He's thinking about, okay, I've got to go and do this tomorrow, and he's in the bed with you. A woman will go into it with her whole heart, her whole mind, her whole being. She will go into it with everything within her. And then when the man most probably finish and go about his business or whatever, she is left with a hole in her heart. Now, if you've got father issues, if you've got issues growing with men, if you have, you know, any kind of issues that are father figure issues, you know, you will go looking in the wrong places for love, and you can have, and it can give you a very devastating psychological impact. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't forget, women, we receive, men give, we receive, and women, we retain. Not just the fact of, okay, I'm going to go and sleep with this guy. No, you psychologically and spiritually, you've created a bond with that person. You've created a soul tie. And you don't just get over that person like that. Some people, I've heard people say, you know, they're in their 40s, 50s, and they've never forgotten their first love, because there's a soul tie there.
Yeah.
There's a tie there. So there's a physical impact and there is a psychological impact that can affect you for the rest of your life. You got to remember that your body is precious. Your body is rare. Nobody else has got a body like yours, and you have to treat it with that respect. Too much sex too soon can impact you in very negative ways. You know, when you start too early as a teen. I mean, my son went to college, and he will come back with all these stories. I've heard stories from other young people of what's happened to them when they have sex too soon, and the impact. Some of them are still going through the psychological impact now of what happened to them. And a lot of them, they regret it. True. So, you know, don't mistake, sex is not love.
True.
And it's not love. You don't find love. You don't give, like as a woman, you don't give a man your body and think that's love. That's not love. That's not love. And you cannot find the longing and the desire that you need as a teenager by giving your body away to men. It doesn't happen like that. If anything, it can increase the longing and increase the pain that you feel in your heart.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Thank you so very much. Like, sex is not love. Sex is not love.
Oh,
and yeah, you don't give your body, because at the end of the day you keep giving and say, okay,
yeah.
if you start by giving, you would think that to sustain it you have to keep, you know, giving of your body, and that's the wrong way to, you know, start a relationship. So
that's right.
So how would you, what would you say to teenagers when they have hormones? I mean, the bodies are reacting, and then they are getting attracted to the opposite sex for the first time. And so how would you counsel them in managing those emotions?
Yeah. Well, you know what's growing now in the United States, there's a growing body of young people who are abstaining from sex. Wow. And they've set up websites. They've got communities where they are practicing abstinence. So the first thing that I would do is maybe counsel somebody to go online, or advise somebody to go online and find some of these websites, because they give tips. They have online support groups for you, because I understand that your hormones will go crazy. Okay. So get some kind of support group, some kind of support network that can help you to figure out how to navigate through that road of, you know, keeping your hormones calm. You might also have to change your friendship circles. And it's really tough, because teenagers go through a lot of peer pressure, and that peer pressure can be very, very strong. It can be very, very powerful. But I would advise them to, you may have to consider changing your circle of friends. It's not going to be easy, but if you want to protect your purity, if you want to protect yourself, you might have to maybe drop a couple of friends. But the first thing that I would tell them is to get some kind of support group. Look for something in your area. If you can't find anything in your area, go online
Online.
and join one of these teen support groups, because in the United States, those abstinence groups they're huge.
Wow.
So go online and find something. I know one gentleman in the church that I go to, I think he's about 26 now. When he got married, he was a virgin. He's 26.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few young men that I know, they've never had sex. So it can be done.
Great.
And
Yeah.
there are young men, not every male, not every young man or every young woman is giving away their body. There are a group of young people.
Yeah, because that's one of the misconceptions. Everybody's doing it. You know, everybody's doing it. And so why are you hung up? You're old fashioned, you know.
Yeah. And don't forget as well, they talk about safe sex. The only safe sex is abstinence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When they say you have because they use this term safe sex, they think that if you use a condom, if you use certain things, and it can protect you and it's safe. It may protect you physically, but there are still psychological, spiritual impacts to having sex with someone who you're not married to, and also especially as a teenager. Especially as a teenager, you have got to really, really, really be careful with that. Okay, so it's not a fact of, yes, I'm going to get a condom and it's safe sex. There are psychological issues with that can impact you in more ways than one.
True.
Okay.
Thank you so very much. Great. Thank you for sharing your wealth of wisdom with us. So if anyone wants to connect with you after this, how can they reach you?
Yeah, you can go to my website, which is heartofrefuge.org, heartofrefuge.org, or you can go to my Instagram, and I have a link tree there. And my link tree is heart_of_refuge. But go to my website, heartofrefuge.org, and all my information is there about how you can contact me.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenny. It's been a pleasure having you.
Pleasure, and thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it, Ruth.
You're welcome. God bless you.
Bless you. God.
To you who's watching, it's not about being young and being young forever. You don't have to give in to those emotions. There are ways you can handle the raging emotions and your passions, develop great friendships. If you're taking anything away from what you've heard today, your support system has to be really, really strong. You have to intentionally choose people who you interact with so that they can build and support you, inspire you, and move you closer to fulfilling your God-given purpose. Thank you for watching. Once again, my name is Ruth Zubairu, and it has been the Valentine Reset Voices. See you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye, guys.
Bye.